Thank you so very much. Really excited to be here, and I'm actually really grateful for what Ryan's done in building this community. I started with him before he even got this thing going, and to see this happening here now is really special. And I'm most especially grateful for the fact that he invited me to moderate this panel, because I've learned so much by researching these gentlemen up here and finding out what they're doing to really push the envelope and create more good in the world, because all of us actually want a better world. And the question becomes, how do we get there? How do we create it? And they're setting shining examples of actually how to do that. And it starts with one very simple thing, a willingness. A willingness not just to push the button, but a willingness to go out in the world and trek across Nepal, and a willingness to trek across the country and go meet people and help them and inspire things. It's not just about talking, it's about doing. And that's what we're seeing here today, and that's what we're going to talk more about. Before we get underway, I just wanted to say a couple of quick words about social good, and in particularly about this time. For a long time, the world has been organized around the corporation. And a good friend of mine, I'm going to be a little rude, so forgive me for doing this for a moment, but it's a very important point. We have really three components of society that many people can look at. We have the individual, we have organizations and corporations, we have society itself. For a long time, the organizations have existed to lift themselves up at the expense of individuals and society. Today, because of the power of technologies like Periscope and others, we're turning this around, and people are more powerful than institutions. And instead of having it about lifting the corporations up, we're turning this into a win, where organizations exist to lift up individuals and society. It's a very simple sort of metaphor. It's very graphic, of course, in that way, and it's meant to be, because the world has been oriented the wrong way for too long. But now, the way businesses are organizing themselves, the way institutions are starting to orient themselves, it's actually about embedding social good in everything they do. In fact, you may hear a lot of talk this year, I hope, about experience design, about moving away from some of the traditional marketing techniques and thinking about actually delivering and designing experiences instead of just branding and marketing and selling and stuff behind it. And what we found is that experience designed with purpose is exponentially more valuable, not just for the organizations, but for the entire community and the entirety of society. And every one of you has a chance to influence what these organizations are doing through your own actions, through your own words, through your own communities. And what we're going to do today is we're going to explore a little more deeply a few of the examples of some leading stars in the world, shining stars really, who have been making that difference and helping lead the way. So you guys probably know a few of these folks, right? Yes? Awesome. Awesome. So what we're going to do is I'm actually going to go through a couple of questions. We're going to really try to have a conversation here. Do you guys not have mics? Do we not have a handheld? Is there a handheld mic at all? Something? Nothing? Okay. All right, that's the other thing. You got to realize that just because the world ain't the way you want it doesn't mean you can't make it the way it needs to be. So that we will. So what I'd like to do is actually, AJ, starting with you, and then we'll pass down the line a little bit. What I'd like you to start off with is, what inspired you? How come you're here? How come you're doing social good as part of your real life call-ins? What's your origin story? And then we're going to go down the line and have everyone kind of share where they came from and what inspired them to come here.
Hey guys, thank you for having me. First of all, I'm far from a shining star. I'm just a guy trying to do some good in the world and trying to create a ripple, and hopefully a bunch of people can do the same. What inspired me to get into doing social good? I think doing good should be a part of life either way, whether it's socially or not socially. I spent some time in my homeland, which is East Africa, in Mombasa, and when I was over there, I met a whole bunch of people that understand the true value of life instead of the price of life. And so many people have materialistic things in their life, iPhones or whatever you might have. Those things have price, but not much value. And I've always said that It's actually a cliche, but on the deathbed, you're not going to think about the things you didn't own. You're going to think about the things you might not have done or the people you didn't spend enough time with. So for me, it's a way of life. It's not something that I made a decision to do. It's just something that naturally occurred.
Fantastic. Because of who you are.
So my name's AJ Joshi. I'm the founder of an organization called the One Wish Foundation. And I founded something on Periscope called Scope for Good. And the idea behind Scope for Good is to give NGOs and charitable organizations and just people that want to do good deeds a platform to be able to be seen.
Awesome. Thank you.
How's it going, guys? Yeah. So I'm excited about this day and age that we live in. We live in a day and age where we literally can do whatever we want. It's the age of the entrepreneur. We can talk to people across the world if we like. We can date people across the world if we want. It doesn't really matter. But the fact is, technology is for us, so let's use that to do something amazing. What I love about what we're here today, why we gathered here today. We gathered to find out more about each other, more about what's going on in the world, and more about how we can connect. And Periscope is one way that you can do that. I love social dynamics. It's something that I teach as well on the side with my best friend. And it's something that we are slowly losing, but we can reinstill it back into our generation, back into our culture, if we are the ones that take responsibility to connect with people visually. Walk down the street, look someone in the eye, greet them. They are seen, and therefore you give them value. And that's a huge thing. So, my name is Dustin Berlin. I am the founder of You First Project, which is a nonprofit that cares for battered women and vets. What we do is we use our skills. I'm a hairdresser for 9 years with Tony and Guy. And basically, I just converted all those skills into caring for people and showing them their value. And that's what is important to me. And the real question is, how did this get started? Well, it's traveling and experiencing that value and that worth and being able to give that, and then realizing you come back to your daily job and you find that routine starts to pull you dry. And that wasn't okay with me. So cutting hair for OC housewives and not finding that real connection didn't work for me. And so I had to seek that out and find what was really important and made a difference in my life. So.
How's everybody? Good. All right. Say again?
I think they know you, but
Yeah, okay. Well, let me share less about me, more about my mission. I run an organization called Day with Daddy. I'll tell you who I am in a minute. Day with Daddy is an organization that I started in 2012. Let me give you a quick 60-second story of the inspiration of Day with Daddy. I come from a family of a single-parent home. My father passed at the age of 7 due to a massive stroke, and so from that point forward, I only sort of knew what it was like to be, a sibling in a household with a mom who was, pretty much trying to take on 2 roles. But I guess she looked at me as someone that can change the name of the game of a single-parent household and make sure I got through school and those things. I have 2 little girls now, 8 and 11, and I don't want that pattern to continue. Hence, Day with Daddy was born in 2012. We were just incorporated as a 501c3, helping homeless fathers in the city of Austin, Texas. And our mission is strictly to connect fathers to make sure that they have employment opportunities, they have financial and health wellness opportunities, and most importantly, that they're leaders in their family and their community. So that's my mission on Periscope, although you may know me as Arvin Poole, the Perry Hacker. And so I am here to share my mission and also learn about everyone's else mission here. So.
thank you, Arvin.
And then did I miss anything? That's good?
I think they know.
All right, gotcha. All right.
Hi, I'm Derek Cowan, and I've been in Nepal now for the last 9 weeks. I
can't even.
I've been completely inspired to create Help the Journey based on my experiences in Periscope. It has completely changed my life. Like, I mean, unbelievably changed my life. From going from depression in 2014 to starting to travel through Vietnam and Southeast Asia, I was inspired by the people I met. The biggest smiles that I've seen on people's faces was from the poorest people in the world. And that, to me, gave me something. It gave me hope to share and to give them attention, give the people attention that had no hope, and they didn't have the tools to reach out to people. And that's why I created Help the Journey. The purpose was to travel 50 countries, helping 50 good causes. So give them the attention that they deserve to not only sustain their cause, but to give them hope and to really inspire them inspire young leaders is one of the things that I want to do, is inspire young entrepreneurial leaders to help the villages. And that is one thing that we're doing right now in Nepal. I'm rebuilding a whole village in Nepal. 86 homes were destroyed in the earthquake that hit in April, and we're rebuilding. We've already built one. We've raised enough money already to build 7 homes, all through Periscope. This was on Periscope. This is the power of Periscope that a lot of people do not realize. So yeah, I don't want to keep going on, but essentially, that is what I'm doing right now. I've been there for 9 weeks. I'll go back until I rebuild this village. And thank you, everybody that supported and donated. You guys, it's this online community, this Periscope community is insane. It is absolutely insane, and it's so powerful. And I don't know how I would do this any other way now. Like, this is insane.
Awesome. Give it up one more time for Derek. This guy is unbelievable. Hi, guys. My name's Chris Strubb, and I am the first person to use live streaming technology in all 50 U.S. states. I took a trip last summer and volunteered with a different youth organization in every state and used Meerkat, Periscope, Snapchat, and every other technology you can think of to spread the messages of all of the organizations, all of the kids, and all of the fantastic volunteers that I encountered along the way. So many of us are here to support our own communities. So many of us are here because our tribes are here, and we appreciate you, and we're so grateful that everyone is here listening to us in the room and everyone watching at home. Thank you. You guys make this all possible. But for me, my tribe is all of these organizations that I've encountered over that 100-day span, none of whom are on Periscope, none of whom are probably listening to this message right now. And for me, the true power is the future of this community. The true power of being here in this room, and my shirt says, I am here, because I am here to support these guys who are leading the way and taking these messages to new people to do such phenomenal things. Every person up here on stage is leading the way and doing things that make me tear up. Even sitting here, I'm almost crying just listening to Derek talk and explain his story. So I am so grateful that you guys are here, have taken the time to come listen to our stories in person. But I'm also here to remind you that there are thousands of wonderful people with fantastic stories who are doing so much work out there that can have their stories told. And I'm here to encourage you and to hopefully inspire you to get out there and help other people tell their stories so that we can continue to find more Dereks and more Arvinds and more people out there who want to make a difference and who are working as hard as they can but just don't understand the technologies quite yet. But you guys here in the room, every one of you holding up a phone and every one of you watching this at home right now, even on my scope, make sure you swipe and share, by the way. Tweet it out, take a screenshot, there you go. That's how we spread the message. That's how this influence that we have, and that's how we fill up this entire ballroom next year. That's how we make a difference. This is where it starts, right here. And I'm so grateful for all of you guys for being here, and I'm excited to be a part of this panel so we can hear more from all these awesome gentlemen.
Okay, we will try to make this awkward, right? Yeah, no, okay. Hey, so I just want to do a quick synthesis really quick before getting to the next round here, which is phenomenal because I think everyone really reflected the ultimate power of technology in the hands of everyday people, which is actually the power to make things visible. These are things that were previously invisible to us because we had gatekeepers determining what was worthy of our time and attention instead of allowing us to decide. And it's just a great reflection of that. And literally going down the line from discovering who you are and living that truth to understanding this idea of actually seeing each other. It wasn't, you have to see the real person. I refer to it as the avatar effect. I see you. Just having that experience changes people's lives, and making them feel more beautiful in that is tremendous in that. I want to hit on Arvin, the importance of mom. Man, this is actually something that I'm doing with one of my community projects, so I really want to hit on this. A friend of mine's mother wrote a book interviewing 70 entrepreneurs and their mothers, and every one of them shared the same thing. They had a mother who believed in them. You know, sometimes a father too, but it was the mother typically who drove it. And that's why I'm standing here, because I was fortunate to have that. Not everyone has had that. Some people come from difficult homes and difficult situations. We have the chance to do that for each other. And that's the inspiration that each of these gentlemen are doing. They're giving us that belief that something else is possible. It doesn't always have to be this way. It can be whatever we want it to be if we're willing to put the time in to do it. And that's really super important. And then as we move down even beyond that, it's about the adventure. I mean, to have the courage to get out and do what you did, Derek, and to give up your time and invest so much of your energy and your heart in that work, I don't know many people who have that, who are willing to do what you've been willing to do. And I hope you're able to inspire more people. And Chris, just everything you're doing, connecting with people, it's important that while this community is a core, it's the people outside of the community that we can help most. It's the people like we saw in Jean-Jacques' presentation this morning working to become a trainer, who all of a sudden had that gift given to him, where he was able to get through that, and what we can do to help each other give those gifts and realize those dreams so that we're all better off. The biggest problem I see with the world today, and the reason why I'm investing in social good, is that I believe that in order for me to be the best off that I can be, everyone here needs to be better off. If you're not better off, then it doesn't matter what I'm doing. We all have to be better in order for us all to individually enjoy that and appreciate that. But let's get back out of the theory and out of the nice inspirational platitudes and get down to some of the real aspects of the work, because we have to turn it from inspiration to activation. The biggest problem, as many of you realize, with social good and nonprofits, particularly over the last several years with social media, is this idea of slacktivism. Like, I can do something by clicking a link and sharing. And that's very important, and it remains important because it's actually sharing these stories that's helping inspire and connect and educate other people. But what is it that you're actually doing specifically to amplify the social good that you particularly care about? I want you to talk a little bit more about the actual work and specifically how you're using Periscope to accomplish it.
Thank you so much. I'm going to touch on it very lightly because I'm actually doing a keynote tomorrow on exactly this. But current projects that we have going at the moment, my friend Callum, who's not in the room at the moment, he's gone to replace his iPhone, but he's actually cycling 18,000 miles around the globe for children's charities live on Periscope. Yeah, he's on a bicycle. He's done 10,000 miles so far across Asia, and he's doing another 8,000 miles across the US. In memory of his older brother. That's in memory of his older brother who passed away some time ago. He's an incredibly inspirational young man. He's tenting, he doesn't have the cash. The other thing I might add is he's actually doing this off his own back. So all the donations that are coming in for his causes, he's not using a single penny of that for his journey. And I've sponsored to make it happen. And we have a whole bunch of other projects that I'm going to speak about tomorrow. Really exciting stuff. Mainly around children, women. These are my personal projects that are dear to me. Again, I'm from a single parent family as well, only child, and there's certain things that are very close to home for me. Domestic violence and women that have suffered that, and children that are suffering various different circumstances are very close to myself. So that's what I stand for. And those are my personal projects. With Scope for Good, we have a bunch of projects going on. And if anyone here has a project, I've spoken to Derek a number of times. I can't even turn my head this way because it goes quiet, so I'm very still. But if anybody has any projects that want to be highlighted on Scope for Good, it's very, very simple. We're going to unveil something tomorrow that if you use the hashtag Scope for Good, then essentially you automatically go up on the platform and you get shared out with a bunch of people that are looking to do social good. Thank you.
I love this microphone, by the way. I love what you said about that, about family and about, well, I call it my tribe, because your tribe is the people that are there for you when you need them, when you fall and they're there for you. And sometimes that happens to be our blood family. Sometimes that's your chosen tribe. And I love that fact because we get to choose those people that are in our life. We can't choose our family. And another thing that happens to us is the separation of life, obviously death. And growing up in a family and then having my mother invest in my life for 20 years and then her passing away from cancer changed the course of how I looked at what I was going to do with my future. Because it gave me the ability to see that everything she poured into me as a child, to caring for people, to loving people, that right now was going to either stop or I could continue that work in the future. And that was huge and impacting in my life. But I'd just love to find out from you guys at home, has anybody lost their mother? I know it's kind of like scary to say, but like from a show of hands. Cool, wow. Yeah, so a big handful of us in the room, and I just relate to you in the fact that I don't know what it feels like, but I do know what it felt like from my experience, and it might be close. And that is the most impacting thing in my life, and what we did with that is we went out and started cutting people's hair on the street, and then it developed into cutting people's hair in programs that are working to change their life, in rehab programs, and now we're cutting hair for battered women to help them escape that situation that was painful for them and restore their value and go on to be amazing mothers again in the future. So I feel like we have this partnership in our aspect and our view. So right now I live in Long Beach, California, and I have the privilege and honor to wake up every day in my pajamas and get on my computer and start planning events. And so what we literally do is we invite the community, the hairdressers, the makeup artists, the manicurists, and the chocolatiers and the florists to come paint a beautiful stage, taken from their situation of being battered now to a basic needs shelter where they have their basic needs met and they're safe. And then we invite them into a glorious ball where there's chandeliers and there's crushed rose petals on the entryway when you walk in, and they get greeted and they put a purse, they get given a purse and they get offered a hair service and then a makeup and then makeup application and manicure. But basically what we're doing, you guys, is we're saying you're valuable. You're a human being that someone else didn't see that. They missed out on the opportunity to say, you're important. And you matter. And we just get to be the hands and the feet that meet people in their place of pain and show them their value. And that's when the tears and the hugs and the part that makes me feel the most alive. And I'm going to be talking about this later at 5:30, and I'd love to share more about this and what happens in our brain and how we're created and our DNA literally comes alive and thrives when we do this thing called social good. So just like we're saying, putting up that hashtag, it is important for those people that are searching it out and want to know and see how they can do that as well. If I ask who says volunteerism sounds good? Yeah, of course, all of us, right? But what do we actually do? And I think that's the big thing is all of us have gone against the grain. Everyone sitting at this table said, hell no, I'm not going to keep doing what everybody else has been doing because that hasn't been working. I'm going to try something else. Pioneer your dream. First of all, know what your dream is and pursue it, and don't let anybody else affect the way you see that dream. That's yours. Hold on to that. So that's a little bit.
Wow. That was awesome. That was awesome. Well, I can't go behind that, but I can actually. I have a story, and my story is no, but seriously, I appreciate what you're doing. I appreciate what all of you guys are doing, and this is my inspiration actually right here and here. And every person that's watching continues to inspire me to get up in the morning and to share my story. And so here is my story about how I use Periscope and other technologies. I did go against the grain. You know, I want to be a trailblazer in this phenomenon of what we call live streaming, to share what I'm doing, because it's not popular. The things that I do on Periscope around community needs more attention. But I don't want to be on Periscope saying, here are the things that we are doing. What I want to be on Periscope is being there doing the things that we're already doing. And so it's extremely important in what I'm working with around homeless fathers. This is my mission today, right now, is to voice my concern around homeless shelters. And I mean, I think we're doing a great job, but it's not about the money. It's not about the food. It's about us. Let me show you something.
You didn't tell us you're going to pull out
Yeah,
surprises
I am.
now. What is it?
Yeah. So these are wristbands. This is how Day with Daddy started. I took $500 of money that I didn't have, and I purchased over 2,000 of these wristbands. I give these out to homeless dads. I go talk to them. I shake their hand, and I say, you know what? If you wear this, you'll be a super dad like me. You see my two little girls? These guys know me by first name. And my mission is to give these out to every dad I know on the street that is looking for someone that they can talk to and understand their feelings, their heart, and understand their story. Because guess what? They're breathing the same air that we're breathing. But we look at them differently. We walk over them on the street. We look at them in their eyes and say, you know what? You smell funny. You know, we don't know what these people are going through, right? But the act of kindness and gratitude to go up and say, you know what? This is for you. It's not, what is this called, 60 cents? That means the world to them, you know. And this is how Day with Daddy started. My mission is now to grow this and we have a fund, and we're trying to raise funds to make sure we support more of this in other cities. And I'm hoping to use Periscope to amplify that mission. One thing that I've also done prior to Periscope is I'm working on a parenting application, and that parenting application connects dads and moms who are not with their children. And this application is in bootstrap mode. It's been in bootstrap for a while. I think I shared a little bit with you about it. And this is not to promote it, but this is how I'm using technology to connect the things that I feel like I'm gifted in and able to give back through the missions that I serve. So, all right.
So, let me ask you a question. What stops you from giving to good causes and charities? Like anybody? Like what's the biggest thing that stops you from giving? Because for me, what I can see is the transparency with organizations, right? So being able to know where your donation's going. So you give $10. How much of that $10 actually goes to the cause? And this was something that I identified with, and I thought, I can solve this problem with Periscope. I can get the money from people that donate it on GoFundMe or via my website, and I can take the money and I can give it right to the merchant to build a home, right? And I can do that all live on streaming. And that's how I get donations, and that's why people buy into like the cause and buy into this village in the middle of Nepal, because they can see where the money's going every day. Daily, I show the progress of the homes, I show the stories of the people of the village, and just the daily things that we go through, the challenges. Like, honestly, you would not believe the challenges that we have in this village. There's disease, there's poverty, there's people dying. There's like, someone else died just 2 days ago. That's the 4th person that's died in this village since I've been there. And these are the challenges that we face. And I can share that with the world. and that helps the cause. And I think anybody, any organization, any large organization need to embrace live streaming, because this is going to be the future. This is going to be the transparency that is needed to generate funds, I believe. And, you know, it's so easy to do. It doesn't cost anything other than data to share a part of the world that would never have that attention. It's incredible. And I feel, for me, we've raised close to $17,000, and it blows my mind in a very short space of time. To raise that amount of money for homes is just unbelievable. I have had 9 people come and volunteer in the village, and the reason that they came is because they can see exactly what they're coming to. Now, it's 6 hours on a bus to get to where I am, like 6 hours. It's horrendous. It's the craziest roads. You're on cliff edges, you're going over rivers. It's mad. It's absolute madness. Yet people want to come because they can see what they're coming to, right? So if anybody does want to volunteer, then please check out my website. It's a little pitch there. But at the same time, we need your help. We need your help and support. It doesn't have to be financial. It just come and lift bricks and build homes, you know. Thanks.
Well, I really don't know how I can follow all these 4 guys again, but you know, what Derek says is so true, and I echo so many of your sentiments and have so much respect for what all of you guys are doing. You know, to answer Chris's original question, what am I doing with live streaming? Evangelism. You know, you hear Brian Fanzo and these guys talk so much about introducing the platform to businesses and how can this benefit your business, or how can you get your art out there? You play the piano or you paint or whatever it is. And I recognized and I identified that there are thousands, tens of thousands of stories out there that need to be told at all of these different nonprofit organizations. So what Derek has done is identified one fantastic cause and focused so much on that, and the dividends that he's shown are incredible. For me, it was more of a holistic approach. I said, how can I take this skill set that I have and introduce that to individuals and organizations in all 50 states? And by doing something on a grand scale and going out there and pushing myself as hard as I could, you know, also self-funded, you know, no sponsors, unless anybody in the back of the room wants me to wear your hat, I'm down, just let me know. But to get out and to introduce these technologies and these gifts that we have, like I said before, to people who have never heard of Periscope or never even heard of Instagram or Snapchat. I mean, that's crazy to us here in the room. That's crazy to anyone watching. But when you actually get out there on the road and you talk to these people and you say, I can press a button on my phone and I can tell your story, the way that their eyes light up is unbelievable. The imagination, the creativity, and all of a sudden now they're comfortable. Now they're reading the comments, they're interacting with the questions, and you see people asking, how can I volunteer? Where can I donate? Tell us more. What's your website? What's your address so I can come help right now? I had people in Salt Lake City say, I live down the street. Can I come help out with what you're doing today? It was incredible. It was absolutely astonishing. So for me, my goal, and this is nothing petty, this is nothing small, is to get all of these organizations involved with Periscope, all of these organizations involved with Snapchat and Instagram, so that all of us watching here and all of us who aren't watching have that opportunity to hear these stories and these messages, and we can inspire you guys in the crowd right now. You know, and I have all the respect for everyone watching at home on Periscope, but you guys here in the room with us are here for a reason. You're listening to our stories. Because one of these gentlemen up here, maybe it's me, maybe it's someone else, is going to inspire you to make a difference. There's a spot for you on this stage next year. We want you up here with us. I want to make an entire day out of social good next year. I really believe that what we're doing up here and the changes that these guys are creating are the future of social media. It's the future of social business. It's the future of the world. I mean, is that too much to say? I mean, I really think that we here in this room together, 50, 100 of us, whatever it is, and all of you wonderful people watching at home on Periscope, first of all, wish you were here. Talk about FOMO, right? But we can start the change today. It starts. 1:30 Pacific or 2:15, whatever it is, you're listening to this message, you can make a change. I went out and did something enormous, so I have the opportunity to sit on stage with these guys and inspire you to also do something enormous, or maybe do something small. And you can look on my website, and now you can look at the entire list of all of the different things. Maybe there's no flights to Nepal next week, I don't know, but maybe you go back to your hometown and there's an organization that you recognize and you understand and you appreciate. And maybe I inspire you to take that step to go out there and volunteer. Whether you Periscope it or not, we can make the world a better place by making examples of all of these great people up on stage who are doing it in a grand fashion that one of you watching at home, maybe it's on my scope, swipe and share if you haven't, we'll go out there and make a difference starting today. Don't wait. Don't wait. When you guys talk about losing your parents, there's nothing to wait for. It starts today.
Hey, for those of you looking at your watches, we did start about 10 minutes late, so we're going to try to go for 10 minutes over. I've only gone through 2 questions. I've got about 20. So we were told we had till 25 after. That's 10 minutes from now. Okay. Hey, Jim, I'm sorry, you wanted to add something?
No, I just wanted to add one last thing one thing that's very, very important with Periscope is that it actually gives small one-man charities the opportunity to get out there, and for me that's a very, very important thing. You guys probably support a bunch of huge, big organizations out there, but I don't know if any of you have actually sat down and looked at the accounts and who's taking what and how much they're getting in wages and all sorts of bits and pieces, admin fees and everything that goes with it. For me, every project I've ever supported, the organizers don't take a wage and they don't take the admin fees, and 100% of the Derek, for instance, I know, he's the type of man that will be tenting or whatever he needs to do. All the money will go to, it's one of the first questions I asked him, and that's very, very important to me. So Periscope gives, a platform to small organizations. You've got your Comic Relief and Children in Need and all these big televised shows out there, but Periscope, somebody that wants to do good in the world can actually pick up a phone and do good. And one thing, very quickly, you can also show the before, the during, and after, and that is one of the most important things. A lot of charities out there, they say, hey, this is our plan, this is what we want to do, and you start scratching your head a year later saying, where did the money go? Whereas in Periscope, you can show real time, this is what's happening with the money, and it changes that. Like we have a homeless project in London where we do feed 1,000 people a week. When people are donating, we can actually take Periscope out there on a Sunday evening, get live feedback from people that are homeless, sit on the curb with them, hear their stories on Periscope, and share that with the world. And the donations have gone like that. It's actually surprising. We can do $1,000 in a scope very easily, and that was pretty unheard of before. And that's gone from 400 people to 1,000 people a week, just in a few weeks. Yeah. So use Periscope for social good.
Thank you. I want to hit on one thing for answering Derek's question about what's preventing you, because I know from direct experience, also paying for this on my own pocket and taking $150,000 in debt and all that other fun stuff to make things happen. One of the reasons why we often don't do it is we don't have the money, we don't have the ability to do it, we don't think we have the time. So the small things, it doesn't need to be a grand adventure always. There's small things you can do every day, and think about that. The other bit is that you might not be in a position where you're able to do it as a full-time volunteer because you don't have the savings. So you can find ways you can do it so you can make a reasonable level of income. Not the bit where you're going to be flying on Learjets everywhere, but the bit where you're able to get a motorcycle or something. There is always a way if you really want to try to find it. So I just want to emphasize that based on all the other stories. And then one other common theme I want to hit on before I ask one quick hit question for everyone, and then we have to wrap up, unfortunately. Common thread here, we are all one global family. We are all one. And that's the story we hear throughout everybody's individual story that I'm sure if we talk to each of you that we would hear as well. And what we find is things like this bracelet, simplest little gift. We call it in a management speak, I think of it as a social object. It's something that embodies all this energy, this passion, this compassion behind it. And there's little things like this that we can gift to people that makes all the difference in the world. And you can find those as well. The last piece of, or last question I've got to run down the end, I'm going to start on the other end and come back on this one. What advice do you have for future uses of Periscope to create social good? Something that you've been thinking about, something that you haven't seen yet but you're imagining, or something that you've wanted to do and you want to share with other people doing social good that they might be able to do on their own to amplify themselves more through Periscope? Unfortunately, got to make it like quick, like about a minute each.
I'll try and do it less than a minute. So, like I mentioned, with the diversity of my trip and all the different opportunities that I came across, I experienced dozens of different possible use cases of Periscope all around the United States, specifically with nonprofit organizations that many of you may be involved with already at home, that you think about the opportunities and think like a journalist, think like a fan. What would you want to watch, and how can you get out there, and how can you help these organizations tell their stories? If you're here in the room right now holding up your phone, periscoping this, you are a journalist, you're a storyteller, and you have a gift, whether you think about it that way or not, that you can get out and you can go call up the executive director of an organization. And if you don't know who to call, please come find me after this panel. Come find me the rest of the weekend. Follow on Periscope, Twitter, Snapchat. Please get in touch with me, or any of these guys would also love to get you in touch with an organization in your community where you can help give that gift back to them and allow them to tell their story better.
Yeah, exactly, Chris. Absolutely. Empowering people and giving them the technology, showing them exactly how to use Periscope is crucial, I think, especially for the village I'm helping in. I've shown the young lad there how to do it. So as I'm sitting here, he's in the PAL still sharing the story. And he wouldn't have been able to do that before. He didn't know anything about Periscope. So I feel for me, just being able to empower other people to do the same as what we're doing.
So I'll talk a lot more about this in the next panel. Actually, I have to be in one in 10 minutes, but how I plan to use Periscope and how I think you should think about Periscope and other live streaming platforms, which I would say don't put all your eggs in one basket in one platform. Explore other platforms and see how Periscope compares to those others, and start giving feedback, inputting feedback into other platforms. How I plan to use it going forward is to use it as a feedback mechanism for every program that it's free feedback. You know, it's like the first platform I've been able to actually use and get instant feedback. And I plan to incorporate that. And then secondly, what I want to do with Periscope is also to do a lot more interviewing of people that I work with in the communities. It's instant feedback. And one of the things that we always have problem in the social good world is working with the right people. Like actually interviewing these people on Periscope. It serves two purposes. One, it introduces that person who's being interviewed to Periscope. And secondly, it gives me, true transparency of that person. So that's how I plan to use it.
Okay, I got a question. Is filming or broadcasting just anything valuable? Is it valuable to watch you make your eggs in the morning? Think about your dream. Think about what makes your heart come alive. Feel it, not with your brain. Think about it with your heart. Take notes on the moments that made you come alive. I call it a dream journal. Call it whatever you want. And figure out what you really care about. And film that. And when you talk about it, people will believe you. And that will make your following, what your cause, your purpose come to life. If you have a pen, or if you want to take a text, it's called You First Project. We say you first. We put other people ahead of us. And it's just generosity. It's a secret of our life. It's in our DNA. So think about what you care about, dream it up, and then hit that broadcast button.
Absolutely, I agree with that 100%. Film what you guys are passionate about, speak from the soul. When you speak to somebody, look in their eyes and see the person they really are. How are we going to use Periscope in the future? For me, it's really about showing the after. So many people want to do great things and kind of have these inspirational ideas and they want to do great things. For me, if you do a project, follow it all the way through, show the end result, and people will naturally follow you, naturally want to be part of what you're doing, because that's what's missing with charitable organizations. It's been a big deal for me. I've done so much with other organizations, and I've always scratched my head thinking, I really want to just look in that person's eyes and see their life changed. And if I see someone's life changed, I'm going to do so much more for that organization. So please get on the ground, let people see and hear through your phone exactly what you're doing, a bit like Derek and some of the other guys are doing, and use Periscope for that. For me, that's the way forward. As far as using other platforms, but for me, Periscope is the one at the moment, only because of the whole Twitter integration. I would really focus down and build that. Do as much good as you can. Don't think about monetization. Don't think about follower growth. It doesn't matter if 2 people are watching, 5 people are watching. Just get out there, share your story, inspire just one person. So many people come and say, I want to change the world, I want to do this, Actually, the ripple effect is stronger than you think. The butterfly effect is stronger than you think. Change something within your own neighborhood. Focus on one person. Focus on a bunch of people. Help them see the value that they have within themselves. Empower other people. Encourage self-belief with these people, and it will naturally have a knock-on effect.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so very much. We are out of time here. One last little summary, because I want to hit on this. We have to remember, money isn't the only form of value. There's so much more than that. We get rich experiences, we get the opportunity for connection, for the feeling of love and joy, for our time that we contribute, for the experience and skills we develop. Find the thing that makes your heart sing and go do that. And give value to the world, and you will get that value in return. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you to our great panelists for working to make a real difference in the world.